The bank robber had used ChatGPT while planning the crime, but when he finally walked into the bank, one of the clearest clues was sitting right on his feet: a pair of bright red Nike slides. If you like true crime stories where one small mistake unravels everything, subscribe or follow because this case moves fast. Caleb was 23 when he entered an I-3 bank branch in northwest Omaha, Nebraska on the afternoon of February 10, 2026. He was not wearing a mask. According to federal prosecutors, Caleb carried a black semi-automatic handgun, pointed it at two bank employees, and threatened to kill them if they did not comply. He ordered them to empty their cash drawers and warned them not to include dye packs. The employees handed over the money. Caleb left with about $9,175. For a moment, the robbery was over, but the investigation was already moving. Bank surveillance had captured Caleb's uncovered face. It had also captured the handgun and the clothing he wore. One detail stood out immediately: the red Nike slides on his feet. Then investigators looked beyond the bank. Residential surveillance cameras near the area captured the vehicle used after the robbery. The plates were visible, and the vehicle had several distinctive features, including a toolbox and noticeable rust spots. That gave police another trail to follow. After the robbery, surveillance video and transaction records from multiple retailers showed Caleb at West Roads Mall, where he used cash to buy shoes and clothing. The robbery had happened only hours earlier, and investigators now had a face, an outfit, a vehicle, a shopping trail, and a growing timeline. By the next morning, Omaha police had identified a suspect and located him near one of his residences. When officers approached, Caleb ran. During the chase, investigators said he left banded cash behind. He was eventually taken into custody after a short foot pursuit. Searches of his residences added even more evidence. Officers found another currency band. They found the vehicle connected to the robbery. They also recovered much of the outfit seen in the bank surveillance footage, including the distinctive red Nike slides. But the strangest evidence was still inside his phone. Caleb admitted that he had driven the vehicle, but denied taking part in the bank robbery. He then consented to a search of his phone. Federal investigators said the phone showed that he had used ChatGPT while planning the robbery. The conversations included questions about police response times and firearms. His phone also showed a recent Google Maps search for directions to the same I-3 bank that was robbed. That digital trail turned the case into something much bigger than a simple surveillance identification. The tool Caleb had apparently used while thinking through the crime had become part of the evidence investigators used to reconstruct what happened. And the physical evidence kept lining up with it. The bank cameras showed his face and clothing. Neighborhood cameras showed the vehicle. Retail footage and transaction records placed him at the mall after the robbery. Officers recovered banded cash and clothing. His phone history pointed back toward the bank. Of the roughly $9,175 taken, investigators recovered $2,397. The handgun used in the robbery was never recovered. In March 2026, a federal grand jury charged Caleb with bank robbery and with using, carrying, and brandishing a firearm during a crime of violence. The case eventually ended with a federal prison sentence. On August 13, 2026, a judge sentenced him to 121 months in prison. 37 months were imposed for the bank robbery, followed by a consecutive 84 months for brandishing the firearm. That is 10 years and 1 month in federal prison. After his release, he is also scheduled to serve 5 years of supervised release. Federal sentences do not include parole. So what actually broke this case open? Was it the uncovered face and the red slides? Was it the vehicle caught on neighborhood cameras? Or was the biggest mistake consenting to a phone search that exposed the digital trail? And if investigators had never found the ChatGPT history, do you think the physical evidence alone would still have been enough to make the case just as strong? Tell me which detail you think mattered most. As of August 2026, Caleb has been sentenced to 121 months in federal prison for the robbery and firearm offense, followed by 5 years of supervised release.